Interested in your own Excel AI analyst that's completely free and runs entirely on device? No need for internet or an expensive AI subscription. I'm going to walk you through 4 use cases using a tool called Cellami, starting from a simple customer sentiment analysis to a more complex AI-enhanced financial statement analysis. So stick around to the end for that example. But like I said, we're going to start with that sentiment analysis. So I'm going to begin running the query over these examples, and all I have here in this data set is customer reviews and sources from different places like Twitter, Yelp, IMDb, as well as a sentiment, which is either positive or negative. This sentiment was provided from the original data source, and I included this check. So once the AI includes its own sentiment, either positive or negative, I can quickly see if it followed the original source data. And there it is. It ran all 50 examples. And based on what I'm seeing here, it inputs positive and negative, which align to the original data source. That's really cool. I also have another example here that I think is really cool. Not only can I just show if it's positive or negative, I'll do this for just a few of them, but I can say, hey, if the sentiment is negative, how about you just tell me why it's negative and skip over the positive ones? So this is my prompt here, doing exactly that. So this sentiment was negative for this customer review. The service was terrible, terrible service. Support terrible. Okay, subpar. Terrible service, quality poor, awful food. Don't go back there. Okay, so as you can see, this is a really quick way to allow AI to analyze customer sentiment. It's as simple as that. It really is. Let's go on to the next example with lease data. So I've got a lease here in my documents. I've already pre-uploaded all this data. And for this, I know I'm going to look at this rental agreement. So let's go back, and I've got a prompt I already made. Again, this is really, I'm not writing these prompts. I'm having AI write this for me using the chat feature. We'll get to that actually very soon. But let's run this. And I want to get an analysis of all these items based on the knowledge base. So let me process this. And let me also walk you through each of these steps in this tool. And by the way, my name's Cameron. I'm a CPA, but I've also been in software development for a really long time. And I'm just really interested in building useful tools. I spend a lot of time in Excel, and this is something that I could see myself using, and I think a lot of other people could use it too. So first of all, what is Cellami doing here? I've got a cell query option and a table analysis option. We'll get to table analysis when we get to the financial statement analysis tab. But for now, we're just doing a cell query. Essentially, that means we're looking at one cell at a time using this prompt. And that was quick. We already have our answer. So based on what it said, ABC Properties, Sylvia, first day of the month. Yeah, this looks really good. And I already have the rental agreement. I highlighted a few things. This was after the fact. And I can see that, yes, ABC Properties, Sylvia, 9876 Cherry Avenue. Yeah, so I think it's following first day of the month. Yep. Great. Security deposit. Awesome. So I can already tell this aced it with flying colors. Really cool. I also want to try something different. Right now I've been using the Gemma 3.4b model, which is a 4 billion parameter model from Google. It's open source. I want to try GPT OSS 20b because what I'd like to do actually is see if it can write something for me. So I'm going to use the chat feature, and I'm going to type this in really quick. Okay, so I don't want to write a formula myself. I'm just going to ask AI to do it for me. I switched to a different model because I think I'll probably have a better shot at getting it right. Let's try this right here. So all I did was I asked AI, hey, I really don't want it to show the source, even though that's what's used in the audit section here. We'll get to that. And I'd rather just have it show me the final output instead of me also just having to come in here and delete this. So I just had to write me a quick formula to do that. And I can see that it aced it. It's showing me the correct output and not the source. Really cool. Okay, so this is a couple features that the tool has. And I'll also point out I was able to select my data here and then just add it to the prompt. I don't have to type in exactly what I'm looking at. I just say, hey, write a formula to dynamically remove the source section from each cell. And it could tell from what I selected and added to the prompt what I was looking for. Really great. Okay, let's move on to the next example with an RFP. So in this example, a company is looking to use SAP maybe for their next ERP. And I've got some data on this, some technical documents, as well as this background document. And let's keep rolling. And I actually want to go back to my more simple model because I know it'll be faster while still being accurate. I have a lot of models saved because I like to test them all. And let's go with my RFP template. This prompt is really simple. There's nothing really complex here, but I am going to need the knowledge base again. And let's use this over the first 5 questions just for the sake of our showcase. Again, I'm using the knowledge base based on those documents that I selected. It is going to review those documents, it's going to pull relevant chunks, and then it's going to answer my question. And all I'm trying to do here is say, hey, answer the following question with a concise response, directly reflecting the language and details found within the documents provided to you. Focus on accuracy and verbatim phrasing where possible. So it's going to look up the implementation methodology, team structure. It's going to answer these different questions based on the documents that I provided to it. Usually you'd have a person look over each of these and write out a detailed response. And as we can see here, AI is doing it for me. So here we can see SAP's implementation methodology centered around SAP Activate. Great, this is great. And then also, like I was mentioning before, I can audit where my information comes from. So if I look here, I can see this came from the SAP Professional Services document and an SAP Support Policy document. And it's pulling out these relevant chunks. That's what's highlighted here. Each chunk that's highlighted is what was relevant from that document. It's pulling up the entire document for me to review, but it's highlighting the section that it actually read to summarize this answer for me, which is really great. And if I select a different chunk, a different question, it's going to pull up those relevant chunks for me. And that's great. I could have run this over all my questions all at once. Don't need to do this, but it's essentially giving me a head start on my first step. So this is really great. Let's go to the final one, which is our financial statement analysis. So what I've got here, and actually I'm going to switch back over to GPT OSS 20B because I trust it more when it comes to looking at numbers in a table. And this is where we're going to pull out the table analysis section. So there's a few steps here. What I want to do is I want to select the table range. So I'm going to set that. I highlighted it, set from selection. And I also want to select the rows of the relevant range I want analyzed. So for now, I'm just going to analyze these first 3. And then I'm going to choose to analyze it sequentially. So it's going to do it 1 row at a time or 1 column at a time, if that's what I prefer. So I'm also going to switch my prompt because again, I already have this, and I'm going to say I don't need a knowledge base for this, and we're going to continue. Okay, so what am I doing now? Essentially, I've got my table defined, and then I've got the AI going row by row, analyzing these numbers, which I also have highlights in, to help me ask good questions. Essentially, I wanted, what do I want to glean from this information? That's all this prompt is saying. I've got this data, identify key trends and shifts, prioritize questions for management to investigate and the reasons behind these trends, focus on highlighted amounts for questions. Yes, the AI can see the actual highlights that I have in here, so it can focus in on that. So let's see, October 2009, that's great. It highlighted it, it was highlighted, so it focused in on it. March 2010, also focused in on initiatives or market conditions, rise to that. What drove record high in December 2010? Okay, great. Same goes here. Specific promotions or seasonal events. Great. Okay, these are great questions. So now that I've used my more intensive model, takes a little bit more time to process with that model, I'm going to switch back to my simple model and continue the analysis. And I'm going to switch back to a cell query as well and a new prompt that's essentially going to look at and use my knowledge base. And let me update my documents. And now let's process that. So I've got a different model, and it's going to look at each of these questions, and it's going to try and answer those questions based on the documents in my knowledge base. And I'm just going to keep letting this run, and I'll get back to you when it's almost done. Here we go. Here are the answers to your questions based on the documentations provided. Document does not provide specific details. Okay, that was actually expected. Does not provide, yep. So not a lot of information on dine-in sales. Let's see about delivery sales, because I think there should be information about these. Largely driven by product innovation and value pricing strategies, advertising or promotional activities, holidays, yada yada. Okay, this is good. Driven by product innovation. Yeah, this is great. So this is giving me an initial analysis of data using a pretty quick model, and I can get these insights really fast. So you could assume if you had a bunch of notes that you wanted to leverage, it could look at those notes to find answers. The limit is really just the data you provide to it and maybe the model that you use. I used a simple model here, and if you want more precise results, you can use a different model. So that's a quick demo of Cellami. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you have any questions or thoughts about the tool, and I hope you get to try it out.